Welcome to the Fiscal Physical Podcast. Join us each week as we sit down with the founder of Alchemy Wealth Management and author of Your Fiscal Physical, Ryan Nelson. Tune in to gain valuable insights and practical tips as we simplify complex financial concepts into digestible lessons. From budgeting to retirement planning, this podcast is your go-to resource for mastering financial literacy.
Welcome, everybody, to this week's episode of the Fiscal Physical Podcast. My name is Aaron. I am here with Ryan Nelson, founder of Alchemy Wealth Management, published author. Find his book on Amazon. You will not be disappointed. Ryan, how are you today, Mr. Published Author?
I'm doing really, really well. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. Nice. You threw in a couple of realies there.
That's right.
That's always good. That's how you know that something's going really well.
That's exactly right.
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. As the year kind of creeps to the end here, one of the things that is coming up is tax season, as they call it. Granted, as we've mentioned several times, we are definitely not tax professionals here, so take that with a grain of salt. But I believe, I'm 34. I think, are you 35 or 34?
I'm 35.
35, gotcha.
Yep.
So you've probably filed taxes for 17, 18 years, something along those lines. Like, it's kind of funny to put that into perspective. I have as well. So, we've had our fair share of, just different, I guess, life events that have happened. So you think back on when you probably filed at 18 versus like 34 is probably a little bit different. So we have some experience in that case. So today we're going to be talking about, I don't know if you want to call it a dilemma, maybe a decision. I don't know, about whether you should file yourself or call in the experts, hire somebody to have that done. I'm hoping you can kind of break down pros and cons with this here, Ryan, of why, DIY of your taxes might be good, why it might not be good, what benefits, cons, all those good stuff. So I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, for sure. As we make this decision, so I'm not personally a tax professional. I know enough to be dangerous here, and I can.
I love that line. Yeah, I love that line.
I can probably help point the listeners in the right direction if they might want to consider doing it themselves or hiring a tax professional. So I would say, if you are considering doing it yourself, so filing your own taxes, right? Like, when might you decide to file your own taxes? So one instance might be if you have a simple financial situation. So maybe you just have W-2 income, so you just get a W-2 from your employer. You just use the standard deduction, and you have no dependents or special credits. That's going to be a pretty simple situation, and you might benefit from just doing it yourself, or even kind of outsourcing, but using some sort of tax software to do it yourself. And the tax software can easily handle a situation like that, and it would be very cheap and painless, and still relatively quick and easy for you.
Yep. I love that.
Another thing would be depending on your comfort level with technology. So if you're going to be using one of these tax softwares, how comfortable are you using and navigating these online platforms? Obviously, some people are super comfortable and happy to do so, and some hate doing it or are just not comfortable logging in online and doing that themselves, in which case they may not be a good candidate to do it themselves, right? If you have limited assets or investments, you may want to consider doing it yourself, or if you just have the desire to save money. So if you're just the type of person who says, "Man, I value doing these types of tasks myself in order to save money," then this would be one of those tasks that would be great for you to take on. That being said, there's certainly a time in life where it might make more sense to hire a tax professional. So if you have multiple income sources, maybe self-employment, rental properties, investment accounts, etc., your situation starts just becoming a little bit more complex. If you're going through a significant life change like marriage, divorce, purchasing a home, or receiving an inheritance, again, your situation is just a little more complex. If you have complex deductions or credits, so if you're getting some sort of business expense, you have some education, medical, or energy credits coming your way. Again, you can see these all just kind of have to do with more complexity, right? So that would create more complexity. If you have a large investment portfolio or retirement account withdrawals with different tax treatments, again, it adds a layer of complexity. If you have complex like estate planning or legacy considerations with trusts and gifts gifts and beneficiaries, again, that can add a level of complexity. Or if you have IRS notices, or you have getting audited, or you have back tax issues, again, it creates another layer of complexity, right? So any of those added complexities, it may make sense to outsource this to a tax professional. I'll say some of the benefits of doing it yourself is going to be, it's super cost effective. It's straightforward. It's fast. If you're filing it just using some software online, it's going to be very fast. And you have this sense of like control and independence, and this sense of like ownership over the task. So you probably learn a little bit more about like even when you're using a tax software, you probably you learn just a little bit more about the tax code. Like when you put in a certain information, sometimes you can see like an estimated refund or amount you owe. So you might type something in and see that it either helps or hurts your taxes. And then that's information you could use in the future for your life, right? So I'd say that's the nice little benefit of doing it yourself.
I just want to cut in here. I think I'm so glad that you put this on there, because I've done mine pretty much forever. It's gotten more complex, but thankfully the software has also kind of made things a little bit more easy. If you pay, you have to pay for the software, but then it kind of just like walked you through every situation. But I do think you do learn stuff as well. Like like you said, enough to be dangerous, not enough to really. But I'm like, oh, that's how like the solar credit works, or that's how they calculate a standard deduction with a kid, like all these different, the child tax credit, and like what you can deduct for childcare, and all these different things that
definitely.
I wouldn't say that I'm an expert by any means on it, but now I have that exposure to where like if it was to come up, like I'm like, oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. Like I don't know your situation, I couldn't give advice, but like I know like what they're specifically talking about.
True. Yeah. A lot of times if you hire a professional, the nice thing is it's getting done right, but sometimes it's kind of like a black box. You just hand them all the documents, and then you just kind of get like, hey, you owe this much, or and you don't really know what aspects of your life contributed to you owing versus getting refunds and stuff. So definitely there's that little bit of added transparency when you're doing it yourself.
100%. Yep. Yeah. And a lot of the software that you can use now gives you a final breakdown at the end that really itemizes like, cool, this is why you did, this is where it went, this is where it went, this is how much you paid. Like you didn't pay enough here, that's why you owe here. Right. So it's cool. It's I mean, it sucks when you owe taxes and stuff too, but like it's also like you're like, oh, now I understand why potentially I can adjust what I'm doing in my life to avoid that in the future, or was that actually the best move for me at that point? So pretty cool just to kind of have that, that freedom and knowledge, if you will.
Yep, makes sense. Some negatives of doing it yourself, right? So we talked about some of those benefits. Some negatives might be, hey, maybe you're missing some deductions or credits that you're just ignorant about. Maybe you're uncertain if certain rules apply and if you're applying them correctly. And you're not going to have a lot of support. So like if you're audited, you just don't have support. You're doing this yourself, right? So those would be some things, some potential cons and considerations if you are considering doing it yourself. Whereas some benefits of hiring a professional is now you have an expert that's going to help you navigate these changing tax laws, right? They can help partner with you proactively. So throughout the year to help identify tax strategies to reduce the liability. So instead of just filing your taxes, you could actually partner with a professional to create a strategy proactively to help reduce taxes. So then when it comes to filing, you maybe get a little bit more back. One of the biggest benefits is probably just the peace of mind, right? Knowing that you filed it accurately. I do, one of the common things I hear is people just have this concern, this question mark, not knowing if they filed correctly. And so hiring a professional oftentimes gives them that peace of mind that, okay, I have more confidence that I did this correctly. And then, I think that tax plan, like tying in the tax planning to the filing itself is big, which I had touched on already.
Yeah. And I think that with the tax planning too, if you go back and listen to some of our other episodes, as you get farther along in life, as you're approaching like retirement, like what might be the best way to use that tax preparation to, if you're going to, be converting, doing a backdoor Roth or something like these different elements that, you're thinking about, okay, cool. How does my 401k work if I'm getting close to retirement? Really consulting all those different professionals as you get farther along. I think it's going to be invaluable in the end too. So just making sure that like it's cool to do things by yourself. I love DIY and stuff. That's great. But like sometimes if you're unsure, like it can't hurt to ask for help sometimes too. I always tell people like, if you don't know, you don't know. Like somebody gets paid to do this. So as long as you're comfortable with your decision and doing it, like more power to you. But just think of what could potentially the impacts of that overall.
Definitely.
So. Awesome. Anything else to add on this one here, Ryan?
No, that sounds great.
I love it, man. This was super cool. I was really excited to do this one because, taxes are, what is it? Death and taxes.
That's right.
Are like
the only thing certain.
The only thing certain in life, if you will, death and taxes. So
that's right.
Whatever we can do to, increase financial literacy there and at least get the listeners thinking about it, I think is a good day on our end here. So,
definitely.
Awesome, man. We'll go ahead and pause here. We'll be right on the other side of this. Everybody hang tight.
And now, to put the personal in personal finance.
Welcome back, everybody, to the personal side of the Fiscal Physical podcast. Ryan, I'm still here with Ryan, which is great. Otherwise, it'd just be me talking. But Ryan, I get a question for you here. What's a commercial jingle, or just a jingle in general, that tends to get stuck in your head? If you hear it, you're like, "Oh, I'm probably going to repeat that," or "I'm going to be thinking about that for a while." I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this one.
God, yeah, I don't know. Not a ton of these commercial jingles like jump out at me or like resonate. I saw recently, I can't remember if I saw a replay of the old commercial or if they're coming out with a new commercial, but you remember those old commercials? It was like the, what's up?
Yeah. Budweiser ones, I think they were,
that's always a classic.
Yes.
Outside of that, it's probably just like the normals, like, the State Farms and
Sure.
I mean, they just have so many commercials but now that I say that, I can't even think of State Farm's jingle.
Like a good neighbor.
Oh yeah. State Farm is there. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. Honestly, I don't watch that much TV, and a lot of now what I watch is streaming. A lot of it has no commercials. And then when you do get a commercial streaming, it's just like two commercials that is on repeat for the entire.
Yeah. Same exact two right in a row.
Yeah, exactly. What about you? Which commercial?
It's funny. I feel like just because insurance companies hammer those, and they do a great job. I'm always just like, like a good neighbor. The Nationwide is on your side. The different ones. Like whenever I listen to the radio, I listen to the radio quite a bit. Like there's like O'Reilly's Auto Parts. But it's funny. We this past year we went to this isn't a commercial jingle, but I feel like it's still stuck in my head. When we went to Green Bay for your bachelor party, they do like a thing at the stadium, and they play like a tune, and then they go Pack, go. That has been stuck in my head for like months at this point here. Like it's which is good. I mean, that's kind of the a big part of that like stadium and the fanhood and such too. Sure. So it's not a bad thing. But every time I hear like the word go or pack, it automatically is just go Pack, go.
It's like that. Was it Pavlov's dogs or whatever? When you ring the bell and they start salivating, I feel like the same thing. It's like they just play that music in the stadium and then everybody just starts chanting, and it's like you don't even know you are. It's just so ingrained.
It is. And even not being like a specific Packers fan, like I'm just like, well, I now have to say this. Yeah. Like it's like not up to me anymore.
Yeah, exactly. You've been trained.
Exactly.
Yeah. You can even hear like during the NFL broadcasts, the stadium noise is like in the background. They like kind of make it a little quieter, but you can still hear that noise, and then the crowd would say "Go Pack, go" and stuff. And it's like I notice a lot more now that I've been to the games and stuff, and like I'll hear that little I guess jingle, for lack of a better term. It is funny that it does like almost train you. It's awesome.
Just even I was there for like a weekend, and I was like, oh wow, like this is now just part of my life.
Exactly.
They do a good job with that. But anyway, let us know what your favorite jingle is, or maybe not your favorite, but the one gets stuck in your head. We'd love to hear about it. Send us a text. Let us know, and appreciate everyone listening. We drop these episodes every Tuesday morning, so please check them out wherever you get your podcasts here. And Ryan, I'll leave you to play us out here, my man.
As always, stay the course.
Thank you for joining us for the Fiscal Physical Podcast. Until next time, happy listening. And as always, stay the course. If you have a question or topic suggestions, please email us at podcast@alchemywealth.com. If you enjoyed today's discussion, subscribe to the podcast to ensure you never miss an episode, and consider leaving us a rating and review on your favorite platform. This helps other listeners like you find the show. For more resources, you can visit Alchemy Wealth Management's website at www.alchemywealth.com or find your Fiscal Physical, the book, on Amazon. We'd be remiss if we didn't mention that personal finance is just that, personal. Please don't take anything we say as advice. The preceding content is for informational and entertainment purposes only. It's not an offer or a solicitation, nor should it be construed or relied upon for tax, legal, or investment advice. It doesn't consider your personal financial situation or objectives and may not be suitable for you.